So for today's patron exclusive video, it's going to be a little bit of a fun trick, a little bit complicated, but I'm sure it's well within your reach. So for this trick, you tell the spectator that one of the questions you get asked the most is, how do you practice? What is it that you do to practice? And well, honestly, it's a lot of solitude and a lot of being alone in front of a mirror. But let me see if I could show you one of the fruits of my labor in finding the aces. So here is the ace of diamonds, and of course, we could find the other aces very simply. Now, that is just one thing you could do, showing off, as they say in the business. But I'll tell you what, I'll have you just pick a card here. So call stop as I run my thumb down the length of this card. And of course, the spectator does this. Let's say they happen to stop over here on the Queen of Spades. This card gets lost somewhere in the middle of the deck, never to be seen again. But we're actually going to use the four aces here to help us in this phenomenal card trick, and to show you another technique that I use to practice alone in the mirror. So for this, I'm going to need for you to just tell me the suit of your card, sir. What's the suit of your card? The spades? Okay, that's good. So I'll tell you what, we'll do this with the spade. You let me know if you see the hidden move here. Did you see anything? No? Well, I actually turned over the spade in my hands without you seeing it. I know, it's a little bit of a cheat. You weren't expecting it. So we'll do it one more time. We'll do it one more time here. So let's see. Did you see it that time? I didn't do it. I lied. I did do it. See, the spades is now face up again. But it does give us a little bit of an interesting thing that I could do, because I could turn cards face down without you seeing. What else can I do, right? So do me a favor, hold out your hand, sir. And of course, the spectator holds out their hand. They put the card on their hand. I'm going to put it in my pocket for now, but they're holding it sandwiched between their hands. And you claim that you're going to be able to try to steal that card from their hands. So here, you're going to try to steal their card. So they're holding the card between their palms like this. And of course, you touch the cards on their hands, and you take the ace of spades, and you say, I've stolen it from your hand, right? Your hand should be empty. And of course, the spectator is going to say, no, my hand isn't empty. I go, that's kind of odd. I practice this move, so I steal it from your hand. I don't know why you still have a card in your hand. Wait a second. You don't think. Go ahead, turn it over. And of course, the spectator turns over the card in their hand, and it happens to be the card they picked, the Queen of Spades. So it's a little bit of a fun routine. You see, you play around with different ways to present it. I like to present it as if different ways that I practice my sleight of hand, or whatever you guys want to present it. But it's a fairly easy trick to do. So for this, you have the aces on top, and you produce them in whatever way you want. The way I produced them here, fairly simple. You have the four aces. Three of them are face up. One of them is going to be face down, along with an X card here, and that's your setup. So we have face down ace, face down random card, three aces face up, and that is your setup. So from here, you could do whatever fancy cut you want. I like to slip cut this ace somewhere in the middle and do this little bit of a fancy production to show it. While I'm showing it, I get a break underneath this card in whatever way you deem fit, so that when I score it up on top of the deck, all I have to do is pick up at that ace, and I've produced the other aces. So that's a very simple production to do. So one more time, as I show this ace, I'm getting a break here, so that when I put it on top of the deck, what I like to do usually is to pick it up to show the ace. The eyes are going to be drawn there, so I could regrip and put these cards into my right hand, showing all four aces. So it's a little bit of a production that the aces come out of nowhere, much like in RKO. I won't do that again. So let's do this one more time to show you guys. So we have an ace, we have a random card, so that, remember, these aces are face up. So one more time, we produce that card in whatever way you deem fit. In this case, I like to do a little bit of a flourishy thing and then say, oh, but that doesn't matter when we have the four aces or whatever. And now we've produced the four aces in this way. So at this point, I like to get a break underneath all four aces. And you could have the spectator pick a card in whatever way you want. The most efficient way, of course, now is to have the thumb riffle down the edge, because that allows you to keep the break so that you could seamlessly go into the tilt that you're going to do in a little bit. So you could either do it this way, or if you want, you could spread the cards to the spectator, have them touch whichever one they want. As they're looking at it and showing it to the friends, you get a break underneath the aces ready for the tilt. So they pick the five of clubs. In this case, you're going to do the tilt here, where the five goes somewhere in the middle, apparently, but it goes underneath the aces. That gets scored up from the front. It looks phenomenal. The spectators think their card is lost somewhere in the middle of the deck. Now you could spread the aces and show, as you get a break underneath their card. Remember that you tilted. So you're going to show the aces, get a break there, score it up, and steal that card in the back. So I'm going to steal this card in the back. As I say, your card is lost somewhere in the middle now. Of course, this allows me to peek at their card and see that's in fact the 5 of clubs. The reason for this is going to be very apparent in a little bit, because you're going to need to displace the ace of clubs that matches the suit of this card. So I say your card is lost somewhere in the middle of the deck. However, we're going to use the aces to show you a little bit of a sleight of hand here. So you're going to spread the cards off in your hand. And funny enough, the ace of clubs is in the right position. So whatever suit that the spectator picked, you're going to need to get that card second from the face. Now remember, you're hiding a card here in the back. So this card is going to go, in this case, technically third from the face. However, as far as the spectator's aware, it's going second from the face. That's where you need to get the card, because you're going to do the Ascanio spread. And when you notice, if you do the Ascanio spread, right now, the clubs has disappeared because it's hiding underneath the spade here. So let's go over that in a little bit. So now let's say the spectator's card, for example, the ace of clubs is on top. You would simply have to displace that card in this position, second from the most visible face here. In this case, third from the face technically. Now, if the spectator's card happens to be here, you're not lost. You could still arrange it. The way I would do this, I would notice that the club is here. I would just take these cards, push off the clubs, and just in a gesture, rearrange it so that it's now second from the face. Again, technically third, but you guys know what I mean. So now I'm going to get into the Ascanio spread. The Ascanio spread is a very beautiful move created by Arturo Ascanio, no longer unfortunately with us. However, he's a great magician out of Spain, and he gave us this wonderful spread technique. That's a very flourishy way of showing cards while hiding one card. So it's just simply, you're going to use your fingertips to draw this bottom card. So that's the first step. Next step is you're going to use this thumb to take this top card and break it from the cards in your right hand. So one more time, you spread this card, use your thumb to spread this back card, and then lastly, your fingertips underneath are going to contact this card and pull it away from the rest. So you notice my right hand is pulling that card away from the rest. So now you're in this display where you have 3 cards showing that are face up, and apparently the ace of clubs showing face down. So at speed, the move should just look like that. It's just a flourishy way of showing the cards, and one card is hiding technically under the ace of spades. So that's the ace of clubs that's hiding under the ace of spades. So you say, look, did you see the move? No. Why turn the ace of clubs face down? At this point, what you're going to do is that you're going to displace the cards so that you are now holding this diamond with your fingertip. You're going to put the heart on top, and then finally you're going to put the face down card that they think is the ace of clubs on top. Because you're going to do the same action as before. You're going to spread these cards, hiding, of course, this back card over here. So you're going to spread through these cards and show that, in fact, you've turned the ace of clubs face down. In exposition, you're going to say, I know you weren't prepared, so I'll do it one more time. This time, you're replacing this face down card in the same position as before, ready to be Ascanio spread and hidden, so that now when you square the cards up and do another Ascanio spread, the ace of clubs is face up. You're going to repeat the same action as before, displacing, showing the ace of clubs on top. And this time you have a little bit of a bonus because the 5 of clubs is going to be face up here in the back of the spread. So you could show the ace of clubs and say, this time I'm going to practice stealing. So you're going to show the ace of clubs. You're going to put it face down on the bottom underneath the aces and turn the whole packet face up. So now you're left in a position where you have the ace of clubs followed by their card, the 5 of clubs, followed by the 3 face down aces. So you could take with your fingertips the bottom aces just like this, leaving you with a double in the right hand that you could turn over, have the spectator hold out their hand, and you put their card on their hand. So the whole sequence, let's just go over that one last time here. So remember, their card is here in the back, the ace of clubs. You're going to conspire to make it second from the visible face here. So you're going to do the Ascanio spread, show that there's one face down card. Of course, emphasize the fact that they weren't prepared for it, so you're going to do it one more time. Displace that face down card in the position that we discussed earlier. Do another Ascanio spread, showing that now the ace has turned face up. Emphasize the ace and say you're going to practice stealing. Put it on the bottom. Turn the whole packet face up. Use friction to remove those cards. And now you're left with a double. You could have the spectator hold up their hand and place in their palm and tell them to cover it with their other hand. So now at this point, the spectator is holding onto this card. We'll just put it in my pocket for now. You turn the whole pile face up. You're thumbing off these cards. And the last one, remember, is a double. That goes on top. Make sure not to spread it. So that now you're going to do this little production move that I talked about in a sandwich routine. If you guys are familiar with that monkey on top, you're doing the same exact thing to produce that card. At this point, you could produce this ace in whatever way you want. I just like doing this because it's a little bit of a visual thing. So remember, the spectator's holding on to the card like this. you're in this position where their card or the ace is hidden underneath the spade, so that now when you spread these cards and you touch the spectator's hand, you do the move as you touch the spectator's hand, making it look like the card just visually jumped through their hand and into yours. That's kind of the point here. So it looks like that card just jumped through their hand and into this stack of aces. And you say, now I've stolen your card, so therefore your hand should be empty, sir. And of course, the spectator, remember, is holding this card like this. They're going to say, no, there's still a card there. At this point, they could turn it over and show that it is, in fact, the card they picked in the beginning, pulling this whole routine full circle. So you have a little bit of visual moments there. You have a lot of moments where the card's turning face up, it turns back face down, and then you're able to apparently steal the card from their hand. But I do love this moment where the card just apparently shoots up through their hand. You have this moment where the spectator's like, no, there's still a card in my hand. And when they look, it happens to be the card they picked. So it's a wonderful little routine with a very nice twist ending. It is a little bit intensive in terms of moves, so make sure to practice it before you decide to perform it for someone. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. That doesn't have a name, doesn't really have a name, but I'm sure you guys can leave a very effective name in the comments below. Thank you guys for being part of the Patreon exclusive videos. It really, really does help out tremendously, and I'm glad to have you guys here. So hopefully I'll see you guys on the next one.